Hi everyone, it's been an incredibly busy week here in Adelaide with the TOOP+TOOP 500 and of course all of the festival activities, but in property, nothing less than staggering the amount of activity. This week we have Craig James, the Chief Economist for CommSec, who joined us for an interview talking all things property and particularly forecasting here in South Australia and Australia. Really interesting, so stay tuned. Also we head up to Glen Osmond and we look at a classic, elegant property. Don't forget, we are live and interactive, so get on those phones or email us right now and we'll answer those questions at the end of the show. This is a big week, all right, not only the TOOP+TOOP 500, but this week we run into the election and it could be an absolute cliffhanger. So as we go to the line, and today's show, very much an election show. Now later, an interview with a member of the Fair Land Tax Party, mouthful, but that'll be interesting. Also, the inside story into real estate issues that are affected by the election. So let's go and look at that right now.
I think my biggest issue with the upcoming election is the 30-year plan, probably especially when it comes to the urban sprawl.
Land tax would have to be an issue, particularly for people with investment properties. And the talk with both parties about rolling back land tax, so I'm sure people will be considering that when they vote.
I'll probably have to say the affording a new home. I'm a first-time buyer and I've been looking around and I can't find anything that actually fits within my price range. It's getting harder and harder, so yeah, it's pretty tough at the moment.
Now, what better for a pre-election show than the head of Business SA, the CEO of Business SA, Mr. Peter Vaughan joins us. Hello, Peter.
Hi, Anthony.
Mate, I thought you'd add a bit of spice to the program for the election eve. So how's it all going?
It's very close. It's obviously a week is a long time in politics, as Harold Wilson, the British Prime Minister, ex-Prime Minister, said. And there could be more fun to come. It's too close to call. And of course, this is a great opportunity for everybody to have their say about anything that they want to fix up in South Australia.
Now, Peter, I know that we said that that we wouldn't do this, but I really want you to, come on, who's going to win?
No, I don't know. I really
Seriously?
don't know. I don't know. If I was a betting man, you'd probably put bets on both to make sure you covered it, because I think it is too close to call. And both parties are now saying that's the case, and the betting people are clearly putting bets on both sides.
Who would have thought 3 or 4 weeks ago?
Well, that's true. All the pundits would have had it's a one-horse race, but clearly elections concentrate the mind. And the great thing about a democracy, of course, is everybody does get a right to vote and everybody thinks about their vote.
Now, Peter, if you're a dictator, no elections, you're the man.
No elections.
No elections, you're the man. What would you do?
It'd be short, but it wouldn't be dull. 3 things I'd do. I'd fix up the water issue by ceding our authority to the national government, because water doesn't stop at state boundaries. Secondly, I would engage the whole nuclear issue and nuclear power in our state. It's an idea whose time has come. We have 40% of the world's known uranium resources, and if we actually harvested it all and did the complete nuclear cycle, we'd all be living in mansions, Anthony, and you'd be making more of a fortune than you are now. So that's the second thing. And the third thing I'd do, which would make everybody's lives a lot better, I'd fix up the speed limit nonsense in the city and in the suburbs, and also synchronise the traffic lights. And if I did that alone, Adelaideans would make their lives a lot better.
Are you a tram fan?
Yes, I'm a fan of the trams. I'm an ex-Melburnian, and therefore trams have been an essential part of my life. They're a great way of carrying masses of people around. They don't disturb traffic in the same way the buses do, because they have a set route and they stick on them, hopefully forever. And they're a very good, cheap method of getting people around.
Now, changing gears into property, because it is a property show, tell me about your thoughts on Adelaide's property, and then the second part of the question in relation to the election.
I think the Adelaide property market is set for a real boom over the next 5 or 10 years. I think there's great opportunity in this state. I've publicly declared we could be a jewel in the crown of the Pacific Ocean, and South Australians get on the tram, to use the parlance of property, because if you get in now, it'll be cheaper than in the future when demand from people interstate and overseas will mean that the price of property will go up.
Who do you see, from your perspective, in the head of the Business SA, as the winners and losers in property?
The winners are obviously those people who get in now, because property will never be cheaper. The losers will tend to be those who are in suburbs where there's less development and less potential, and obviously at the moment down south it's doing it tough, but the opportunity with the vineyard areas and some developments down there may well turn that around, particularly with the use the government is proposing for Tonsley Park. So this is a great opportunity to get into the market at whatever level you're at in South Australia, because as I say, I think the economic circumstances will gift South Australia a great next 10 or 20 years.
Peter, supply and demand are the two factors that drive prices. Supply we know is tight, and we'll talk about the 30-year plan in a sec. And the second part is demand, which is population. Talk to me about that.
We're 1.6 million people in this state. We're bigger than Texas geographically. We have the highest proportion of people over 60 as a per capita, and the least proportion of people under 30. Unless you're into funeral parlours and retirement villages as a state strategic plan, you've got to bring people in from interstate and overseas, young, keen, well-trained, experienced people who are going to command bigger salaries to make up our skill shortages and deal with that problem, and they're going to create a housing demand which we have not seen in this state.
And if there was one message that you wanted to get out to South Australians, what would it be?
In terms of the election, make sure your vote counts, make sure that you vote appropriately, and think about who you want to govern for the next 4 years.
Thanks, Peter, for that. Now, we've got an interview with CommSec's Chief Economist, Craig James, so let's go and look at that right now.